We are children of sweet Baba, and we should never speak harshly with anyone. So let me read that out. Baba says, you children are going to establish the land of happiness. Yes, are we going to do that? Yes, so everybody is on the same page about this, that we are going to establish the land of happiness. So Baba says, never speak harshly, because somebody who speaks harshly cannot establish the land of happiness. But do you know that this little thing that is so clear to us right now is not clear to the rest of the world? Because people use this expression, we will fight for peace. So there is this thought in the world that by being agitated and by fighting, by being very even through violent protests, you can establish peace. And usually even when there are peace marches, they are not peaceful. So there is a lot of anger, and there is a lot of shouting, and there is a lot of screaming in those peace marches. So Baba gives us this very simple equation that if you want to establish the land of happiness, you cannot speak harshly. Your behavior cannot be the opposite of that which exists in the world of happiness. So when Baba says the land of happiness is a land of mutual respect, is a land of peace. And Baba says that it is a land of sweetness. And if you speak harshly, then you cannot establish that world. Now, the most important thing is, see, nobody plans to speak harshly, right? So we all want to be sweet, but why aren't we sweet? That's the question. So today Baba says, if you hear anything like that, you must not pay attention to it. So you see that when somebody is speaking harshly and you are hearing it, so what is the bigger problem? They speaking or you hearing? Which one is the problem, the first or the second? So somebody speaking is not the problem, the hearing is the problem, yes? Now what happens when you hear somebody speak harshly? Then their harshness becomes part of your consciousness. So when you pay attention to something, then that which is outside comes inside. So through your power of attention, you pull that which is outside and bring it inside. And that which was part of the world becomes part of you. So earlier it was their words, now it has become your thoughts, your feelings. So it is very important that this has to be paid attention to. So when somebody is speaking stuff and in a tone and in a vibration which is not good for you, then you don't pay attention to it. And just like when you go to a yoga class, they tell you that your muscles have flexibility which you were unaware of. So they will tell you that your hand can move like this, and your body and this muscle can have this movement, and when they move, you are really surprised that, okay, is it humanly possible to move this way? So similarly, Baba comes and makes us aware that you have a man and a buddhi, and your buddhi is what pays attention. So it is your prerogative whether you want to pay attention to something or not. Now the thing is, we have not used this muscle of attention for very long. So that is why it is not in my control right now. So when you sit in meditation, what are you doing? You are consciously using your muscle of attention. Are you not doing that? So when we are sitting in meditation, what we are doing is, I'm consciously training my muscle of attention to focus inwards, to focus upwards. Yes, so I tell myself that, just don't pay attention to anything outside. For some time, you focus on yourself, on you, the being of light, the being of power, the being of peace. And then you ask yourself to, take your awareness to the soul world or to Baba. And when you do that in meditation, then what you're doing is, you are exercising your muscle of the mind and your intellect. And when you do that, then your muscle becomes active. So that which was inactive for very long becomes active now. It starts getting activated. And then when it starts getting activated, then you have choice about how you want to use it. And then when you don't want to pay your attention to somebody's words, you are better equipped to exercise that attention muscle and not pay attention. Okay, so this is why, when you sit in morning meditation and you claim your right over your mind and your buddhi, and you train your buddhi to focus where you want, not where it is wandering. So what do you do in meditation? You sit, you tell yourself, oh my buddhi, withdraw from everything else, withdraw from the body, the circumstances, the behaviors outside, the weather outside, whether there is electricity or no electricity, and just sit in the awareness that I am a being of light, and I am very light, very peaceful, very powerful, and I am Baba's child, and Baba is the ocean, and I am experiencing Baba's shower of love, Baba's shower of peace at this moment. So when you're doing that every day, then you have developed the power of conscious attention. And when you do that in favorable circumstances. Now, why is it suggested that you wake up early in the morning in Amrit Vela and practice meditating, practice soul consciousness, practice remembering Baba? Why is it suggested to do early in the morning? Because that is the most favorable environment. So you see, your body is relaxed, you're not tired, your mind is calm, people around you are sleeping, or they are not troubling you at least, and there is a quiet atmosphere, and then there is no work that is demanding your attention. So it is a very favorable time, it is a very favorable environment, and you need a favorable environment to practice so that you can apply that practice in an unfavorable environment. Is it not? Right? So when people do army training or police training, they don't do it with the enemy. Yes, they do it with simulations of the enemy. So they do it with things that are pretty controllable. So you put a iron bar and you have to cross that, not some big, swamp which you have to cross otherwise. So Baba says that you practice in a favorable situation, and that practice leads to the strengthening of the muscle of your mind and your intellect, and you create conscious thoughts. You plug in your attention wherever you like, however you like, and for however much time you like. And then Baba says, you see that earlier when people used to meditate, they were not aware of the soul, or they didn't know who is Baba, or they didn't know the soul world. So they focused their attention on a candle flame, or or something else. But when you do that, then your attention muscle is exercised, but it doesn't fill you with power. But when you focus your attention on your spiritual stage, on Baba, who is the ocean of virtues, on your sweet silence home, which is a land of peace, then you also draw power. You draw peace into yourself. So it's both an exercise in flexibility and strength. So when you do yoga in the morning, and then what happens is during the day you have choice about whether you want to focus on something or not. Otherwise what happens is you will take this knowledge, but you will not be in a position to choose whether to hear something or not hear something. So Baba says that, and with meditation, the most important thing you develop is knowledgeful state. You create your wise state in meditation. You know what is your aim and who are you and where you have to go, and that creates a sense of wisdom inside you, that this is relevant, this is irrelevant, this is necessary stuff which should be focused on, this is unnecessary stuff which shouldn't be focused on. And this creates your ability to discern between what deserves your focus and what doesn't deserve your focus. And meditation builds soul consciousness, and you win over your ego pulls. What does your ego do? Your ego makes you focus on all the bad. Yes, and your ego makes you feel that all the good makes you lose your respect, and all the bad makes you, feel respected. Do you agree with this? That ego does that. So I will give you an example of how ego tricks your thought process. So there was this one brother, and he used to write very nice poetry, and he was a great poet, and he was not in Gyan. So once he told me that a man is a victim of his image, and what happens is, because I write very good poetry and I write good books, great books which inspire others, so people assume that I might not be into alcohol. So when I go to a party, they don't offer me alcohol. They don't offer me drinks, because they assume that such a good person wouldn't be drinking. But he said, I like to drink. And then what happens is, I keep thinking whether I should drink and spoil my image, or I should just maintain my image and come back. And usually I don't drink, and I come back and I feel sad that I didn't drink and I lost on free alcohol. So then I told him that, and he said that, a man is a victim of his image. So I said, no, your problem is pretty simple. Go and pick a drink. Anyways, you know that you are not respect worthy. So why is that image so important? So anyways, in your core heart, what do you know? You know that you are a person who is attracted towards drinks, and when you are protecting that image in society, you definitely know that's not a good thing to do. But then when you are comfortable creating those thoughts in your mind, why not be comfortable doing it outside? So I told him that your ego is telling you that knowing that you are an alcoholic is not bad, but letting other people know that is bad. But Gyan tells you that what really matters is what you know about yourself. So ego tells you that it doesn't matter what you know about yourself. What matters is what others know about you, right? And that's why we are always protecting our image, not ourself. Because if we were to protect ourselves, we would refrain from such actions. But ego tells us, don't protect yourself, indulge in every possible vice in privacy, but don't do it in public because you will lose your image. But Baba says that what you do in your privacy creates your self-esteem. It creates your swaman. You know that. You are witness to that. So never do anything which you know is a wrong thing to do, even in the privacy of your mind. So Baba says, even in the privacy of your mind or in the privacy of your room, do not fall prey to, thoughts of lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed. Because when you do that, even if you don't lose your image outside, you will lose your self-image or you will lose your self-esteem. So this is what Baba tells us, but ego tells you the opposite. So this is why, Baba is today telling us that if you want to protect your stage, you have to be egoless, because ego is not about self-protection. It's always about image protection. So Baba says, when you sit and practice soul consciousness, you create that awareness that I am a soul and I am worthy. Then what happens is you choose better during the day, because you are in awareness that I need to protect my stage. I do not have to indulge in that hearing and seeing and thinking which damages my inner state. And this increases your power to discern and decide that which is favorable for your spiritual health. So Baba says, when you practice Raj Yoga, when you sit in morning meditation, do Amrit Vela, create a stage of soul consciousness, remember Baba, and you maintain that stage throughout the day, then what happens is you will hear but not hear. So, or hear but not listen. And when you are able to not take in that which disturbs you inside, then what you take in will come out, because nobody can be who they are not. So you will always be that which you are, and whatever is inside you will always express itself in action. So if you hear harsh words and they become a part of you, your mind, your feelings, then obviously you will speak harshly. So Baba says, you have to meditate enough to have that choice to not focus on, not have your attention on sights and sounds and words which disturb your peace and purity inside. And only then your behavior will be peaceful and pure and loveful. And Baba says that is what children who are going to establish the world of happiness need to do. And then Baba says, if you listen to something like that, you too would then start to speak in that way. You cannot stop it. It's going to happen that way. Even a trace of anger causes great damage. To get angry with someone means to cause him sorrow. So Baba says that when you get angry with somebody, so why are you angry? Because anger is inside, it comes out when triggered. Because you have taken and consumed anger in many situations. So Baba says, when you get angry, sometimes you're very slightly angry. So it's not even like you shouted at somebody, or there was a whiff of agitation. Yes, so And do you know that it causes a lot of damage to the person in front of you? So I don't know if you're aware of how much damage anger has caused in this world. So we get angry and then we don't even, so you see that there is this one child, and when he came to the center, he told me that, Didi, I'm not able to focus on my studies, I'm not able to build good relationships, I am always worried and stressed and anxious all the time. And then when I talked to his mother, she said that we give him everything. You see, we have money, we have comforts, we have resources, everything is there. The only thing is I cannot control my anger. So I know that I have been an angry person, and I don't know how to speak something sweetly. So I speak it harshly. And I don't think that just that thing has caused this much of damage, but the child, but psychologists today are saying that that's what has happened. So you see that we don't understand that when you are expressing your anger through your eyes, through your words, even slightly, that anger is causing a lot of damage. And then every action has an equal and opposite reaction also. So Baba says that to get angry with someone means to cause him sorrow. And the Father says, if you cause anyone sorrow, you will die experiencing sorrow. And you will have to endure a great deal of punishment. Because although we might not be calculating how much of sorrow we have given, but when it comes to us, then we definitely know that I am experiencing sorrow. Okay, so then there is a question, do you think frank and blunt tone and words are harsh? It is the intention that defines the action. So, there are some times, when somebody is asking a question and we are pretty straight in, we don't mince words. We say it very upfront that, this is the problem and this is what you're doing and you have to deal with this. But the thing is, that lands well and the other person finds a solution. He's not confused, he's not taking sorrow out of it, but he is taking strength out of it. Why? Because inside there is compassion. So those clear words are coming from a place of compassion. So it is the intention that you have to check. And sometimes, you are very angry and agitated on the inside, but you are not using angry words. So, sometimes you're very angry and then you say, dear child. So, you are saying dear child, but it is in a lot of anger inside. And then the child knows that there is nothing dear about this way of you're addressing him. So, Baba says that you have to check, these vices and virtues are something very personal. Nobody else can tell you whether you are angry or not angry. Sometimes you look angry, but you are very calm on the inside, and sometimes you, appear very calm and composed, but there is a lot of bitterness and anger inside. Yes, we are good actors, are we not? There is a reason why souls are called actors. We are actually actors. Everybody is an actor. So Baba says you have to check that inside. And then today Baba says something very, very sweet. Baba says that I teach you everything, and then when you return home and see the faces of your relatives, you forget everything. Yes, so in the class you're all nodding and smiling, and then when you set out, what you say, your normal life, then what happens is all this just vanishes and you forget everything. And then Baba says, this is why they have hostels in colleges. And, this word hostel is a very interesting word because, there is this one sister, and she was telling me that she's living in a working women's hostel, and she was saying that, my I have worked for 10 years. I have done a job for 10 years, and I have to still live in a hostel because I'm not getting a room, because they don't give rooms to single women, and I'm single and nobody is renting out a place to me. So that's why I have to live in a hostel. And just imagine my plight, that after earning, after working, I have to share my room with 3 other people, and I'm living in a hostel and my life is hell. And then Baba today says that hostel is a very beautiful thing. And Baba, when he says hostel, hostel means Madhuban. So, in Mount Abu, when you go, it's a hostel and a school. So it's a boarding cum school. And every child of Baba is encouraged to go and live in the hostel for some time and do that study there. So, 4 days, 5 days. There are always trips which we are making to Madhuban, so that we can go to Baba's home, stay there, experience, and have a good time there. And so, this thing about hostels, so I will just share what one sister who had been to Madhuban for the first time, this time, shared with me. So only yesterday she came, and she was telling me that, Didi, when I went to Madhuban, I realized what a spiritual life is. And then she said that Madhuban is Mount Abu, okay, the international headquarters of Brahma Kumaris, Mount Abu, Rajasthan. So she said that, Didi, when I went there, so I was sharing my room with 3 other sisters, and we were 4 in a room. And then the 3 of them would get up at 2:30 in the morning, and they would take their bath and go to the hall. There's a diamond hall where there's collective meditation happening. So she said that every day they would get up at 2:30 and then take bath, and by 3 they were in the hall. And then what happened is, first day I wondered how somebody could get up at 2:30, take a bath and be so enthusiastic and reach the hall. And then the next day I tried that because, I was in the company, so I don't know what changed inside me, but I did that. And when I did that, and we went at 3, to my surprise, that whole hall was 3/4 full. So then she said that then what looked like an exception for me looked like something very normal to do. And then she said that when I saw that 2/3 of of all the brothers and sisters who are staying here are in the hall by 3 a.m., so I thought that I am the exception and this is the rule. And then I don't know what shifted inside me, but for the next 3 days, I was able to get up at 2:30, take a bath, go and sit in the hall at 3, like I have been doing this for years. And she said it came so normally and naturally to me. And then she said that the sister who I am talking about, she was just on the bed beside me. So after coming back from meditation, she would have a cup of tea and then she would go for seva, and then she would go for murli. And then when I saw her do all of that, then I felt that, why shouldn't I do this? And then I went there, and I experienced what you tell in the class, the happiness of good karma. And she said that, going and chopping vegetables in the kitchen, and then going and, having a productive morning, having a morning full of Baba's light, might and seva, that gave me a happiness which I did not know I was capable of. And I was smiling all day, and I have never smiled like this all day. And then she said, for 5 days, I was just smiling in that happiness. And in that state of happiness, the food, which was very, very simple, looked like the tastiest food on earth. It looked like, I was eating some nectar, or it felt like I was eating something which was very unearthly. And she said that I was just floating in the air. I was in seventh heaven. So you see that what Baba is talking about, the hostel today, is this. Baba says that when you go and spend time in Madhuban, then you are in the company of souls who are practicing that spiritual lifestyle. Spirituality is not an idea for them, it's a life. And when you are in that company, then a spiritual life looks very simple and normal to you. It doesn't look like an effort, it comes to you very easily. And in that environment, you develop sanskars, you create abilities, you earn good karma, which you might not have done for very long. And then when you come back with all of that, then maintaining that spiritual lifestyle becomes very easy for you. So Baba says you must go and be in the hostel for some time. And let me give you another example. So you see that in this case, there was this one sister who was new, who was a first timer, and there were 4 sisters who were in Gyan for very long. Now let's imagine another scenario where there are 2 souls who are going to Madhuban for the first time, and there are 3 who have gone for the second time, or maybe the third time. Now all of them are in low energy, not very good energy, right? So they all are struggling with sleep. Now in that case, if you are in a situation where you are not finding inspiration from others, then it's your duty to be the inspiration. Yes, so if 2 people are sleeping, then instead of seeing them and sleeping, you get up and create that environment where they are motivated to get up with you. So Baba says in a hostel you have to understand that the rules have to be followed, and if the others around you are not following them, then you take the responsibility of creating that inspirational environment where others are inspired to follow the rules. Okay, so this is also there. So you see that those 4 souls took that responsibility to inspire this one, right? So that is why this one had a good experience. So now you are also, a mixed bag. So there are new souls, there are some who are in Gyan for some time. So look for inspiration where there is inspiration, draw on that inspiration and be better. And when there is no inspiration around you, then you take the responsibility of being the one who inspires others. So this is also very important to bear in mind, because sometimes when it is your drama that you are put with souls who are all new in Gyan, then what happens? You end up complaining about them. But no, then it's your responsibility to take responsibility of your actions and inspire them. Correct? So somebody has to take that responsibility. So Baba says, in that hostel, either you will earn the good karma of being inspired or the good karma of inspiring. But when you go to Madhuban, one of these two things will definitely happen. And Baba says, this is why make it a point to visit Baba's home, go and have an experience and be there. And Baba says, fill yourself and come back and donate the same. So when you fill yourself with that vibration, then you come back and serve others. And this is why Baba says that you must go and visit Baba's home. And then there is the slogan. Baba says, stay in the pleasure of meeting God and the Jamela of Maya will finish. So just like I explained earlier that, just by saying that, the law is wherever attention goes, energy flows and that thing grows. So if there is a lot of chaos around you and you are only focusing attention on the chaos, then the chaos will increase, right? But if you're with Baba and your attention is with Baba and you are experiencing the sweetness of the sweet relationship with Baba, you are in Milan Mela, then your focus is not on the Jamela. So then your Jamela doesn't find any attention to feed on, and then that Jamela automatically starts finishing. But if you are focusing on the Jamela, then you are actually feeding it with your attention. So if there is chaos around you, let it be. You be absorbed in this, sweet relationship with Baba, and that will give you the power to do the right thing at the right time, and you will be able to give the right response and deal with the Jamela also. Okay? Om Shanti.